Hello and welcome to the MCQ lecture series. In today's class, I'll be dealing with some of the important MCQs with respect to macroeconomics, that too the criticism part of classical theory of employment. So let's get started. The first question is, which of the following denotes the criticism of classical theory of employment? And the underlying options are, the first is falsity of Say's law of market, which says that every supply creates its own demand, but unfortunately during the Great Depression this was not true and the US economy was filled with overproduction, because the Say's law of market says that every supply creates its own demand and therefore there will be no overproduction. But this falsity happened during the Great Depression, and as a result this is one of the criticism. The second point is refusal of the thought that economic system is self-adjusting, that means laissez-faire economy or no government or least government intervention sort of economic system. The classical theory believed that there is no need of government per se, the economy will come back to equilibrium if at all there are any disequilibriums, and this self-adjusting nature was praised by the classical theory. But unfortunately during the depression that did not happen, and therefore the role of government was highlighted by the Keynesian theory of employment. Thereafter we have saving is not equal to investment. The classical theory suggests that saving is always equal to investment, but Keynes rejected this fact, saying that the person who saves is not the similar person who invests. That means there are different individuals who are saving as well as there are different individuals who are investing, and as a result this equality cannot be achieved, which was the basis on which the classical theory suggested that there is an equality between the same and all of the above. So here all these three things are talking about the criticism of classical theory of employment, and therefore option D, all of the above, is the correct answer to this particular question. I hope the question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is talking about, according to the classical theory, money performs the function of merely dash of goods and services and is hence demanded only for transactionary purposes. When I talk about the Keynesian theory, I'll talk about what are the different purposes of money, but in this context, which is the classical theory, money performs the function of merely a medium of exchange, a store of value, a standard of deferred payment, or none of the above. So here, according to the classical theory, money performs the function of a medium of exchange of goods and services and hence is demanded only for the transactionary purpose per se. So this is what the classical theory really talks about when they talk about what is the function of money per se. So I hope this question is pretty much clear. They consider money as a medium of exchange for buying goods and services, and it is only demanded for transactionary purposes. So this is also important, please mind you. I hope this question is clear. Let us now move to the next one, which is, dash is a basic result reached in the classical full employment model. Dash is the basic result reached in the classical full employment model based upon flexibility of prices and wage. Flexibility of prices and wage, whether it is neutrality of money, whether it is value of money, whether it is instability of money, or none of the above. So here neutrality of money is the basis is the basic result reached in the classical model, wherein it is based on flexibility of prices and wages. So therefore here neutrality of money is the correct answer to this particular question. I hope the question is clear. Let us now move to the next question, which is specifically asking about the criticisms made by John Maynard Keynes on the classical model or classical theory, and the question is framed in this fashion: which of the following denotes Keynesian attack on classicists or classicism? And the underlying options are, first is refusal of self-adjusting economic system. I have talked about it. Second is, Keynes suggested that wage cut will always lead to fall in employment. Therefore he suggested that rather than cutting wages, you increase the money wages and you will see increase in employment per se. And the third is disagreement with equality of saving and investment. I have already clarified the point here, saying that people who save are different as compared to people who invest. So therefore this was again one of the criticisms made by John Maynard Keynes, and last option is all of the above. So here all these three things, that is refusal of the self-adjusting nature of economic system, then we have wage cut will result into fall in employment. That is also one of the important criticisms made by John Maynard Keynes of the classical model. And third is disagreement of equality between saving and investment. He suggests that saving and investment is done by different individuals, and therefore there cannot be a possibility of striking equality between the same. So therefore here all of the above is the correct answer to this question. These are all criticisms specifically made by John Maynard Keynes, and that is why I have taken up this question. I hope the question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the next question, which suggests that according to the classical theory, any changes in quantity of money affect only dash variables, whether it affects real variables, whether it affects nominal variables, whether it affects prices, or none of the above. So here, according to the classical model, any underlying change in the quantity of money will have an impact or will affect the real the nominal variables rather. It will not have any impact on real variables. So real variables will not have any impact on itself because of the changes in quantity of money supply in the classical model, but rather it will be the nominal variables which will have the impact of any underlying changes in the quantity of money on itself, and these can be nominal rate of interest, nominal wages, etc. So these are certain nominal variables on which the impact of any underlying change in money or quantity of money will be substantial, and as a result the classical theory suggests the same. In the next question is more or less similar to this, but here it is framed in a different fashion. As per the classical model, any changes in the quantity of money has no influence. Here I am specifically asking has no influence on dash variable. Now we have seen it doesn't have any influence on real variable, it only affects the nominal variable. So here the correct answer is real variables, and real variables like output and levels of employment are not affected because of any changes in the quantity of money in the classical model, but rather nominal variables like nominal rate of interest and nominal wages are affected because of any underlying change in the quantity of money in the classical model. I hope this question is pretty much clear. Very important question as far as the classical model is concerned. Let us now move to the next question. According to the classical theory, real variables like level of output and employment, real wage rate, real interest rate depends upon dash. According to the classical model or classical theory, real variables depends upon what? What are the real variables? The real variables can be level of output, it can be level of employment, real wages, real rate of interest, etc. They depend upon what? Whether they depend upon stock of capital, whether they depend upon the supply of labor, whether they depend upon technology, or all of the above. So here in the classical model, the real variables, all these real variables which I have mentioned here depends upon all these three things. That means it depends upon the supply of labor, the stock of capital, as well as the technology. Therefore here the correct option is option D, all of the above. That means according to the classical theory, real variables like levels of output and employment, real rate of interest, real wage rate depends upon the stock of capital, supply of labor, as well as technology, and therefore option D is the correct answer to this particular question. I hope the question is pretty much clear. Let us now move to the last question in this segment, which is talking about the demand for and supply of money in the classical system does not determine dash. The demand for and supply of money in the classical system does not determine what? Does not determine rate of inflation, does not determine rate of interest, does not determine rate of unemployment, and none of the above. So here in the classical model, the demand for and supply of money does not help us in understanding the determination of rate of interest, and therefore option B, rate of interest, is the correct answer to this particular question. These were some of the questions in association with the classical theory, that to the criticism part of the same. In the next class I'll start with something called as the Keynesian model or Keynesian theory of employment. So please stay tuned for more. Thank you.